Bonjour, thank you for watching. This is Thierry Bell. I'm the founder of Global Fashion Management. I will be sharing today over 25 years in the business of fashion and retail, having represented the Magic Show, having, I would say, visited, walked all the other trade shows. And therefore, today, Trade Show 101, it's about how to be successful at trade shows, whether in your home country or internationally, and what are those top 5 mistakes that you need to avoid at all costs. Now, let's drill down straight away. There's 3 key things I want to highlight that I'm sure you know already. Have an objective. So those objectives is about you being clear about the sales lead that needs to be obtained, and make sure that those sales leads are, of course, buyers. Don't forget that buyers could be independent, specialty boutiques on the one hand, and department stores on the other. But do not minimize the importance of the other fashion stakeholders like the press, agents, distributors, and maybe also people like consultants, whether ourselves, but also logistic companies or credit management companies. Now, if you were to remember that it's impossible to convert 100% of all the sales lead, how much names do you put in the database to make it to the level of sales you want to reach? Remember that many people buy a database, which is ultimately proving useless. Why? Because they think that buying in a high-end database is going to respond to their brand. The question is, if your brand is high-end but classic, it has nothing to do with high-end contemporary product. So just be careful that you invest your money wisely. You need to build a very strong action plan. So now that you have the strategy, you need to roll out the action plan. And you've got to start at least 4 to 6 months before the show takes place. If not, get expert advice to optimize the work you're going to be doing at the last minute. It will pay up straight away. And it's got to include the task to be delivered prior to the show, during the show, and after the show. And you need to get everybody involved, from top management to, of course, frontline staff. I mean, we've developed a specific program, the International Sales Booster, to help you go through all those necessary steps. Ensure that you're as ready as you can be. It's really about implementing from the start international best practice. So, of course, I'm not going to drill down today on having your collection ready and available on time. But you also need to remember that apart from your product, this is really only the visible part of the iceberg. There's the invisible part of the iceberg, which is about making sure you've got the right brochure, line sheet, maybe press coverage. And if you're heading to the US as a foreign brand, then the question is, should you go with a price list, which is FOB, free on board, or DDP, deliver duty paid? And once again, over 50% of the young designers and startup companies will fail to use the right Incoterm, therefore not taking any order or very few when heading to the US. You know how much it costs, and you don't want to make those mistakes. Another silly mistake, some designers would go to a trade show with 50 business cards for a 3-day show. You could be giving away easily 50 to 100 cards a day. So now let's drill down on what are those really top 5 mistakes you need to avoid. First of all, it's not just about having goals, having a strategy. It's about setting up measurable goals. So you want numbers. I want 5 buyers. I want 20 leads. I want 2 press people. If you don't get those measurable goals, I can tell you, you will not achieve them. Another big mistake is failing to approach targeted buyers. If they're not targeted, you are wasting your marketing money. You're wasting your time at the show or on the phone prior to the show. And that will be wrong. You need to make sure to be extremely focused. We fail to understand the connection that we need to develop several times before converting a client. I love that Singaporean designer in Paris who told me that the buyer-seller relationship was like courting. And she was right. You cannot expect just out of one phone call or one email to hit the heart of the buyer and get him or her to buy your collection. So think about not only connecting once, but what would be the series of emails, phone calls, or a mix of those connections which will impact the most. The fourth major mistake is not training your team and your partners. And it's not just about words, it's about having a clear process, having checklists, doing role plays. This is what we do in our International Sales Booster program to make sure that your team and yourself are fully prepared. We want no mistakes in the way you're going to be investing your money on trade shows. They cost too much. Those mistakes will cost you a lot. We're coming back from a show in Paris where we act as a brand expert, and speaking with a young designer, she invested over 8,000 euros, and today, that's it. She has to close her business. The last mistake is there's much more than just a product to be successful. Why? Well, because the buyer, of course, needs to love your product. However, the shipping terms, the payment terms, your customer service, your ability to provide returns, swaps, all those will matter. It will make his shopping, buying experience much more interesting, much more successful for growth and profitability in his business. So make sure that you take into account all those points to make sure that you build a successful trade show experience for yourself and for your buyer. We are here to share over 25 years. So if you want critical thinking, if you want somebody to help you very practically to set up and grow your trade show business, make sure to connect with us and we'll be happy to help. And today, with our London Fashion Business Academy, we can help you in a cost-effective way through some digital training. Give us a call or attend one of our workshops on trade show optimization. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.